Thank you very much, Mr. Ricky. That was an amazing performance. While you were away, I'm telling you, this man has done the most. He has played Fast Fire on Fire. He lit the fire in our hearts. I'm telling you guys. All right, so help me welcome Madam ZEE GITAHI. All right, next one. Hey, I tell you, you know those guys who, when you go through LinkedIn, those guys can give you pressure. Those guys, their LinkedIn is a bit too strong. But you know what? That's how it's supposed to be. All right. So this man is a co-founder and chief executive of Shajul's business. Damn. Hey, this man, I can't even say the boss. You have such a long track record, and that's amazing. Help me welcome Mr. Julian Rowa. Amazing. Next up, but never least, I'm telling you, this lady, guys, do not know who you have in front of you, but it's good because now you're about to get to know them, all right? So basically, she's an internationally recognized entrepreneur, speaker, and mentor by passion, especially, right? She has been able to help brands, she has been able to help organizations create their image and everything that they need to know to succeed. Can you help me welcome Madam MARYBEN OMOLLO? Thank you very much. And last, but hey, let me tell you, this guy does the most. And I don't know why I'm saying this guy, everyone is here is doing the most, and as they should, and as you should too. So I'm happy they're in front of you because you're able to see an example that people truly can do great things. Remember what I told you guys about greatness? Yes, the great people are here. So help me introduce the award-winning public speaker, the global personal branding trainer and communication skills trainer, Mr. Brian NYAMBEGO. And the main man himself, this man who made this whole thing happen, this man, the reason why you're here right now, the guy who Fire on Fire should have been played when he was walking in, to be honest. The main man himself, Mr. Muli Motaji. I'll let you be.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I had to stand up because I don't want to sit too now, just quick. But thank you guys for coming. I can see a lot of beautiful faces. This is amazing. I hope you guys are excited because we're going to have a very, very, very juicy conversation. And I don't think I've done justice to my guests because these guys are experts in their field. You know, when we talk about Dr. Julian, the word doctor is just nowadays thrown around, but he is an intellectual powerhouse, and I think you will learn why he has all those prestigious titles. Brian, it's been a privilege to work with you, get to know you, and I think you challenge me and inspire me because his consistency is insane. I think you guys who know Brian on TikTok, he posts I think 4 or 5 times a day. I'm posting at least once. He's just on go mode. And you know, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to consistently give value. And we are living in a time and day and age where the great book that was written 2,000 years ago says two things why many people today are perishing. I think everyone here is searching for the same thing: meaning, purpose, fulfillment. And if you don't have a vision and if you don't have knowledge, those are the 2 reasons why you will not learn the potential of who you could become. And that's why I have MARYBEN as a coach. Guys, she's very, very good at what she does. There are those people who, you know, they're just born to do what they're doing. And she's one of them. And again, the conversation will be very, very interesting. On the other side, we have ZEE. She's an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is not an easy task. Shout out to everyone here who is running their businesses and doing great things. Can you guys clap for yourselves, first of all, please? Thank you for coming, and it shows me that we're all searching for the same thing. Everyone who you're sitting next to is also searching for the same thing. Many people today, I think 90% of people have not found the essence of why they're on earth. The 10 who have are truly living in fulfillment. And so we're going to talk about some things today that I hope they will genuinely challenge you and also give you a perspective of understanding the potential of who you can become. Because we're living in a day and age, again, where many young people are perishing. And I say this, a lot of young people need young people. Because there's a gap in between generations that eventually I'll ask Doctor, our senior, some questions about why is there a gap. That is the reason why the boy child, of course, we all know, is slacking. But I want to first ask Brian and Dr. Julian, because you the men perspectives today. When we're talking about purpose, we both know men. First of all, let's talk about men for now. When a man is idle, he's mostly depressed. And I don't know if you guys have your mics. Yes? Okay, good. And when he's not doing anything, he's depressed. But when he's happiest, he's pursuing himself physically, mentally, spiritually, all the LYs. My question to you guys is, how do you discern the difference between, I'll give this to Dr. Julian, how do you discern the difference between a fleeting passion and your true life purpose?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. A fleeting passion and
a true life purpose.
A true life purpose. This is interesting. First, in the acknowledgement and the acceptance that life is a journey, the question he asked keeps evolving, because at some point, what was passion, valuable passion, can with time turn to be something fleeting because you're past it, you've achieved it, and it is something like you can look at as a feather in your cup. So this is a relative question that changes depending on the circumstances and the time of day or the time of your journey. But now, how do you distinguish between the two? If what you are doing is coming from a place of excitement and nothing more than just excitement, you need to think about that again, because it is most likely that whatever decisions you're going to make out of that will be guided by a sense of fleeting, which comes from a place of excitement. Excitement is short-term. Excitement is short-term.
I hope you have your notes.
Yeah.
Very well, sir. I want to ask you, Brian, what do you have to say to young people who are told, right, the system of go to school, study hard, graduate, find a job, and then, build yourself up the corporate ladder and become a specialist? So for you, you've written a book. First of all, he's written a book when he was how old? 18? 17? That's not a small thing. And the book is about, what's the book about?
If you can hear me, clap once. Okay, the energy, guys. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Yeah.
I've seen some people not clapping, and I can just tell their energy needs deliverance. But anyway.
Yeah, the title of the book is A Mindset of a Billionaire. It doesn't talk about money, but a poor kid with a rich dream. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that. A mindset of a billionaire. I think we often hear so many things, especially in the day and age where social media, there's a plethora of knowledge out there. You can listen to everything and anything. You can also self-educate. So what do you have to say to those who are told there's only one route, which is school, job, degree, and then you find a way to, retire yourself, and then you die? And I think there are a lot of people who are living in and they're okay with being average, mundane, complacent. My desire is for those who are complacent. I think I've learned who my target audience is. It's not everyone. It's those who are complacent, those who have everything that they need in life. They have the money, they have, if you want to go to this hotel or travel, you can do it, but you still don't have fulfillment. So my question is, what's your perspective on those people who are told that specific, I don't know if it's a lie, but that specific way of finding your purpose?
Okay, first of all, I'd say that there's a difference between success and greatness. Success follows patterns. Finish class 8, finish form 4, finish campus, get a good job. Greatness doesn't follow patterns, really. Because I wrote my book at the age of 17, got my first job at the age of 19. At the age of 20, I'd sold my first 2,000 copies. And that really showed me that you can achieve anything at any age, but if you follow what the world really says, because you see, your mind, when you give, what you give your mind is what it gives you back, but now in terms of reality. If you feed your mind negative things, it will give you those things, but now in reality form. So same thing, if you're willing to follow patterns, it's up to you. But realize that there is a difference between success and greatness. And I think if there is something I can say my mom taught me when I was growing up is that don't be like a monkey. A monkey, when you give it a banana and 1,000 shillings, what would it choose? A banana. Why? Instant gratification. You want something that is going to, or rather something that you're going to hold on for the moment, forgetting that you have three things, or rather you are in three ways. There is who you really are at the moment, there is who you hope you are in the future, and there is who you think you are in the past. So focus on
say that again. I was seeing some eyes like
there
he's
is,
speaking too fast.
There is who you really are at the moment, there is who you hope you are in the future, and there is who you think you are in the past. So who you really are at the moment will determine who you will become in the future, but the choices and the decisions you're willing to make right now are the ones that are going to shape that person. So for me, my perspective, it is this.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So for me, my perspective is focus on greatness. When you, in Kenya, if you find a 23-year-old who's a millionaire, you'll hear people say a lot of things about him, right? But in America, or maybe in other countries, there's someone who's 23 and they're doing amazing. They're a millionaire, having their life because they decided to follow the path of greatness. So it is all about looking for something that really gives you meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, because those three things lead to contentment. That is what I'd say. Yeah.
Thank you for that, brother. MARYBEN and Zee, I want to hear what you guys have to say concerning, we're living in Nairobi, right? Kenya is, in Ruto's economy, not everyone can succeed, right? To be honest. So how do you now navigate when those people who are in the pressures of survival, you know, they have bills to pay, they're in this season of, I would say season because I don't think that's a permanent state, they're in this place where, you know, money is hard and their perspective towards money is not necessarily healthy. But now when it comes to purpose, how do we now balance the pursuit of purpose with those pressures of trying to make ends meet? I think, MARYBEN, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much for that question. And it's an honor for all of us to be here and for them to have me here.
You heard that again. Please say it again.
It's an honor for you guys to have me here. It's not for me to be here. You know, it's for you guys to have me here.
Come on, confidence.
Yeah. Confidence. And the reason as to why I say that, it's because I've been through a lot just to be here. And I had to pay the price for you guys. So you guys are very lucky. Someone else had to take the stones, yeah, to give us the footprints of making it in life. Now, you've asked a very profound question, balancing between making it and also understanding your purpose. And the gentlemen have done a good thing, a good description, rather than put a meaning to what is your purpose. Coming from someone who's had it all in Nairobi, staying in Kawangware in a bedsitter, having your house always being locked, being used as a doormat, having a dream, not seeing your dream coming into reality, or rather praying and seeing God answer your prayer, just one prayer after 9 years. I'll tell you guys one thing. There are a lot of opportunities in Nairobi. But for you to survive, you have to start somewhere. For you to make it, you literally have to start somewhere. So the question is, where are you starting from? The last week, we've had a very long day at work, and we were moving from Thika, Machakos, name it all. And one of the things that stood out between me and my brother, it's like we said, there are a lot of work. You asked, if you have to make your ends meet, where do you start? Start from somewhere. Start from as low as carrying those bags. Start from as low as sweeping the Nairobi city. Start from as low as working in the supermarket. Start, but you're earning your own money with dignity. There's something I've seen in Nairobi is that we all want to make it. We all want to be a baddie. But let me tell you, as we're becoming a baddie, what are you going to leave behind? How is your body going to look like? Because we are all baddies. Trust you me. Starting from the gutter is much more important because you will be able to tell your story. People are able to learn from it. I don't believe in popcorn miracles. I don't believe in popcorn growth. We all have to start from somewhere. So in this hard time, in this economy, Ruto's economy, just start. Trust you me, ladies. Trust you me, gentlemen. It's hard, I know. And this is someone who used to stay at Kencom, leave town at 11 because I didn't have transport and I had to just rely on the goodwill of actually two touts. One was called Freddie, the other one was called Paul. I would stay there, wait for the last KBS bus to get to my place. It was a beautiful bedsitter in Kawangware. And even when I started climbing the ladder, being in the social space, people know me. You're stepping out of that bed sitter, everyone, all the conductors know you because they've seen you on the newspapers, they've seen you on the TV, and they keep on saying, "So ni ule dem, so ndo ule MARYBEN tulikuona." Yes, and I had to wait. So you need to learn. Understand your purpose. Where are you going? If you know right now your purpose is not going to give you the money that you need to supplement it with something else. Work.
So that's really good. I want to ask Z, right? We're always taught in the self-help space, work hard, grind, you'll make it out eventually. But what about those who are working their butts off and have not seen a shilling or seen the type of money you guys may have seen, and yet they're still working hard? So that's why we're talking about purpose. Because if you've been sold on the lie that working hard changes everything, what about the people who wake up at 4 a.m. and finish their shift at 10 p.m. trying to make ends meet, and they end their day with 1,000 shillings? What about those guys? What do you have to tell them? Those guys are working really hard. So what is the role? I think everyone here has a very powerful story, and I want to ask you, Z, your vulnerability is up to you. But what's the role that struggle and pain and hardship have played in finding your purpose today?
Hi.
She said hi, guys.
I wanted to mimic my colleague over there. If you hear me, clap once. At the backbenchers, I can't hear you. Thank you. That's an interesting question because in some ways my journey isn't like MARYBEN's, but the struggles, the pains, the disappointing days, the days you're angry at God because you feel almost offended. But I've done this. How dare you not give me this thing I want? And in line with my purpose, I think at some point the turning point for me was understanding this is what I want, and then there's what God wants for me. And sometimes those two clash. Because I want to be a baddie, I want to be a baby girl. I don't want to work. I want to wake up and voila, there's breakfast. There's a car outside to ferry me, whatever. But that's not the case, guys. Sijafika huko, naweza kaa nimefika basi sijafika. So at some point I had to start asking him, "Morning, Dad. How are you? So what's the plan today? Show me, guide me what I should do today." And part of that from a work experience, if anyone's looking at my CV, it's very confused on paper. I've been in virtual reality, I've been in marketing, I've been in art galleries, I've been all over the place. And then I ended up in a telecoms outfit, and then somehow you're in my house, karibuni sana. But in hindsight, every single role I played, including my very first job as an assistant to a lady who was running an NGO, every single thing led to me being here today. My being here today is going to lead to something else next year and the year after that. Why? Because I involved God in my conversations. Because sometimes Like, how many of us here can say we've had God speaking to us? If we are to be honest, for the believers in the house. Have you ever said, you've heard him say, psst, psst, what's up? You know? And some of us have not experienced that yet. True? You don't know what we are talking about when we say we had God talking to us. Chiki wede, moon and the wrong side. Some of you have not had that. Sometimes God doesn't even talk in the way you think he's going to talk. He shows up through people. Like the person who gave me my first job opportunity. And the funny thing, and I was actually telling Glenn this, the funny thing, you guys might think I look successful, right? I mean, I dress the part, very important. But I don't think I am. Isn't that wild? I'm turning 30 this year and I feel like I'm failing, which is wild. If you know me on social media, you might think this chick is doing the most. She's living the best life, but I don't think so, right? Why? Because there's a standard I set for myself that said, I have to have done XYZ by this age, by this point, which I have not done. But one of the conversations I had to have with, I call him Papa upstairs, was, that's what you think. But let me actually show you what you've done based on asking me and involving me in your life. It wasn't what I thought I'd be. Guys, I thought I'd be an interior designer. Do you think I'm interior designing anything beyond my closet? Absolutely nothing. But all the other things I've actually weirdly managed to do are quite impressive. And now that I see it and I look back to something I saw when I was a young girl, my purpose was actually you guys. It's people, it's conversations, it's impact, it's smiling and saying, hi, you look beautiful today, and that's about it. That's my role in your day, conversation. So when I removed the money element, it's important, I promise you it is, and those are fights I have with the guy upstairs. When I start accepting that my purpose is people, you start realizing God provides for that. And as he provides for that, there's different levels of provision, which I'm still struggling with this part. Why some people get more than others. I don't have an answer for that part. But the fact I know is whatever your purpose is, as long as you're open to finding it, he will guide you to it. And while he guides you to it, he provides. He
that's really
always
good.
provides.
That's really good. Are you guys enjoying this conversation? I can see a lot of fingers going crazy. So, Dr. Julian, my question is your life. You first of all, people don't know you're very serious right now, but he's just a very funny guy to be around, and he's filled with laughter. He told me something very profound when I had a meeting with him earlier this week. He said a lot of people are looking, they don't understand that when it comes to the light bulb moment, that was very good, by the way. He said when it comes to the light bulb moment, a lot of people are trying to understand that you can't just wait for it to come to you. You have to look for it. So with your journey, when did you know your job or your work wasn't just a career? When did it shift to being a calling? Tell us a bit about your story.
From a calling to a career, that's a brilliant question. First, let me react to a question you asked earlier about Ruto's economy and how we are expected to sustain ourselves. And MARYBEN did a good job of explaining it. For me, what I can share based off my experience of 56 years is to say we have two struggles. We have two struggles in our pursuit of excellence in life. One of which is the struggle of sustenance. That is the day-to-day. The struggle for sustenance. We need to put food on the table. But there's another struggle that's even a lot more profound. It is the struggle of where we're going. The struggle of your vision. What's your end game? What's your big picture? What does it look like? And many times you'll find there's a big conflict between the two because you're trying to be visionary, yet you cannot meet your very basic obligations. And that's another big space of conversation. You've asked me the question, when did my passion become a career, or when did I discover myself? I'm a guy of Jericho. Mini Chalwa Jerry. Brought up in a small house in Jericho, 1 bedroom, and we were 13 of us, 13 children. And then, of course, there's a mother and father, so we had our own arrangement of sleeping. And I remember this joke that we tell years later, that when you wanted to turn, because you're so tired of sleeping on one side, somebody would say, "Jerry, go." And then we all turn at the same time. It was that profound. But yes, you go on with life and you get the blessings of pursuing a great career. You start your banking career as a teller. In fact, beneath the teller, we used to call them the refer clerks. And then the sense of how do I call it? It's something profound about what you can possibly be gets to hit you. Now, as you go along in your career, the past begins to define you. Your father's struggles to provide for you become so profound that you realize that I have to do something greater with myself. So for me, that was the case. So I come from school one morning, bring my report card home, and that was in Form 1, and I'm number 20 out of 34. And Z, my father looks at me after looking at my report card, and the only thing that he asks is, will any of my children become something? And for me, that was the turning point.
Wow.
I took a detour in my career, and I really excelled. I took a detour in my education, and I really excelled. Here, I was being driven by a bigger force than myself. And that force was to dignify my father. That's where it came from. Fast forward, banking has become boring. Banking does not define me. I'm asking myself, who am I? If I'm to tell the story of my life to my daughter 20 years from now, what form and shape will it take? And that again became a profound moment for me. And that's when I realized that banking was not for me. I went back to school to pursue my doctorate, which I did successfully. Coming back, I refused to get employment. I decided to get into a space that will give me fulfillment. And I realized that that space is working with people and for people, and not necessarily working for money. So I can tell you right now, Molly, I'm enjoying my life better than I believe most of my colleagues who are leading corporate leaders in this country are. So working with you like I'm doing now gives me the fulfillment that I need. And being able to impart the minds of a young person is what for me gives me gratification. Where do I see myself in the next 30 years? I see myself working with very impressionable young people who are so talented, and all I can give back to them is the experience that I've had over the years. And that for me, nothing beats that. Nothing is greater than that.
Wow.
Thank you.
You are blessings, sir. You know, it's genuinely rare to come across men like you today who walk the talk. And a lot of people are talking today, but few are actually walking the talk. You guys that are sat here, one thing I can tell you, no one here is going to tell you your purpose. It's literally impossible, because from what I've understood about purpose from my young age is there's something that God has put inside of you that no one else in this world can tell you what that is. And it's a term I tattooed on my chest called eternity within, because it will take an eternity to find out the potential of who you can be. Because sometimes I see myself, the dreams I have, I'm like, this is scary. I see so many times God shows me visions of myself. And if you've seen my book, The Narrow Path, that is in the back, that's going for 1,000 shillings that you guys can buy if you're interested. The cover art came from a vision I had 5 years ago when I was in Pennsylvania, asking myself the questions of what on earth am I doing here? What is the point of everything? At that point, I was going through a season of isolation, which if you're wise, you'd use that to your benefit and build your value. Because at the end of the day, all these people here sat here because of value. I am desperately searching for people who have value, who have that it factor. And if you're here today, that person could be you. I want to see who could be on the next panel that's amongst us today. I see everyone here has the potential to become someone who could scare other people, because your potential, if God was to show it to you in one sitting, you wouldn't believe it. So I want to ask MARYBEN today. For me, I know my desire is, first of all, Dr. Julian told me there's an art to learning. And there's something you hear and you're just like, interesting. But you don't realize there's actually people who study how to learn. And whoever is writing notes is actually right now walking in that specific art, because I never have a conversation or meeting with someone and don't have a notepad or don't have something I'm writing, because everyone has something that can open your eyes that you may not even understand how they know. But for you, MARYBEN, do you, in your story, you've told us about some of the things you've gone through, and it's inspiring to me. But how do you now, for those who are going through maybe a moment of things are very hard, how do you define your purpose after a tragedy? You know, after you've experienced a loss, maybe you've lost someone very, very close to you. And for me, I lost a close friend of mine 2 weeks ago, and I don't know where Guru is. Is she in the building? Okay, I don't know, I can't see her, but if she's around? Okay, she's around. But yes, that was her boyfriend, and we worked together. He was part of my team. And shout out to everyone who's in the team here. I hope you guys have been treated amazing. The people who are dressed in blue, please clap for them kindly. No, clap for them kindly. Yes, thank you. So I know that specific loss, it hit a lot of people. And you don't realize how important you are until maybe someone close to you departs from this physical plane. And we have this thing where we honor people after they've gone. No, appreciate me now before I die. So for you, you've gone through a lot of significant struggles, but how did you redefine your purpose through those struggles and keep pushing?
There's something I got to learn, and I think I told you, not you, I discussed it with Brian and the other team the other time. I'm one person who is not defined by my current circumstance. There's a secret about growth in life, but there's also a secret of how do you view life. And I'll take you guys back to the Bible, and you'll realize everyone who started, or rather everyone who walked with God, there was a sad story behind them. There was a struggle behind them. There was a weird character behind them. There was something they were struggling probably with: flesh, idolatry, poverty, rejection, including Jesus himself. Imagine Mary telling Joseph, "I'm pregnant by the Holy Spirit." Where did you hear that? How is it even possible? So all of us, or rather most great people, go through that rejection. So one of the secrets I discovered during that pain was that I was supposed to use my pain as fuel to my purpose. And that is where people go wrong. Each and every pain, each and every situation you go through, any painful situation you go through, it means you're supposed to use it as your purpose. There's a learning process in it. There's a learning curve. There's something God is birthing out of you to be able to help another person who will be going through that circumstance. So at times people ask, like the way she said, why me? Trust you, me. If she hadn't gone through that whole process, we wouldn't be here. It's a beautiful place, by the way. We wouldn't be here. So one of the things, again, the second thing I learned was I told God, okay, fine, I want a testimony. So what is the test? I'm here. Let us work together. But I told him only on one condition: don't brag about me like Job, because I'm not going to, literally, I'm not going to be...
Preach.
Exactly. Don't brag about me. I've already had a good share with the devil. He has brought all the temptations. Each and every night I can sit. You know, like the way we've been given the vision to visualize. And the Bible says, I've given you power to trample over the snakes and scorpions, right? And he has given us the power and the vision to see, know, internalize, externalize. So each and every time when I go through some serious situation, I sit there, I talk to God like him. May I tell God, yo, come, let's sit here, let's have a conversation. If you want me to learn something on this, fine, but give me the grace. Let me learn it, let me understand it, and bring people my way so that I don't feel the pain has gone to waste. This pain must go somewhere. I must train someone to this. And I tell the devil, listen, devil, I know right now you're having your fun. You're dancing. Please continue dancing. When I'm done, I'm coming back. I'm coming back to take everything that you took from me.
What are some of the sacrifices in your relationships that you guys had to face?
Number one, losing friends. Because in this journey that is life, or let's even use a practical reality. If you're going to Nakuru, a group of you guys want to go to Nakuru, you guys want to go to Nyahururu, you guys want to go to Mombasa. At some point, you're going to have pathways. Because there's no way you're going to sacrifice going to Nakuru to go to Mombasa if that's not what you wanted to do, right? Same with you guys. If I want to achieve certain things and I have certain value systems that I hold on to, and you're my dear friend, but you don't hold the same for whatever reasons, at some point you're going to part ways. It's unfortunate. My mom used to say, you need to look at friendships like the way Europeans look at the weather. There is winter, there is then spring, summer, autumn, rudia. Some friends are that cool winter jacket that is perfect for the cold. But when the heat comes, you can't wear the jacket, you'll die. It's too much heat. Their purpose is only for that season, right? There are others who are the nice bikinis and shorts for the summer. Others are the nice flats you wear in spring. Some are that handbag you can carry all through. They're lifetime friends. Very few, very rare, but there are those who are there. So what she was trying to tell me is you need to start trying to understand what role that friend of yours is playing. So when the time comes for that friendship to end, you just let it go. When the way we return the jackets into the closets and we put back those who have done skiing, I haven't, those who put their gumboots away, the way you put that back so easily, it's more of letting that friendship go with kindness. It served its purpose, kind of like they popped up in an episode of Friends, just one episode and that's it. They've done their purpose to chekesha you and they've gone and they're done. So losing friendships is one of the most painful, but unfortunately almost necessary part of life, right? Number 2 would be learning to build or rebuild a relationship with yourself. Sometimes we are good to everybody but ourselves. I encourage my friends. I had to catch myself. I was very good at encouraging my friends. What do you want to? You want to build a spaceship? Oh my God, you can't do it. Let's do it. Mimi, I want to go to Naivasha. What am I thinking? Who do I think I am? Why do I think I want what? Me? So I'd always put myself down, but I'm the same cheerleader to my friends, and I had to change that relationship because then when I look back, it informed why I had certain people in my life. Because we're feeding on certain things. There are certain people who are like vultures and they feed on the carcass of you. You don't believe in yourself? Fantastic. You don't like yourself? Even better. And they're the ones who give you backhanded compliments. You think, oh my God, my friend loves me. They don't. They don't even like you. But you feed off that because you just need some affirmation. So when you rework that relationship with yourself, and sometimes not even sometimes, as you do that, you really need to do that vertically. Because you need to also understand what the Creator sees you as. What did He create you for? Once that is solid, again, this friendship kind of just fall off on their own. It's like branches that just kind of fade. So you lose friends and you'll have to rework your relationship with yourself. And once you do those 2 things, you realize anything else that happens along the way, whether it's work relationships, whether it's investments, whatever it is, becomes a lot easier because 1, you're at peace here. Your heart is at peace. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. You know your heart is in a good place. You know you have a steady relationship with people. You have a community that believes in you, that supports you. So anything that comes your way, it's so much easier to handle. But it starts here and here, right?
That's really good. That's a very good reminder. There's something that came to my mind as you were speaking. You know, Jesus found his purpose when he was 12, you know. I studied the teachings of Jesus like crazy. And his parents lost him for 3 days and they find him and he says, I must be about my Father's business. At the age of 12, you know. And one thing that the Bible also says is he started growing in stature and with favor with both God and with man. So there's an aspect that many Christians, or let me not even talk about Christians, just many people in general don't understand that in this life, there's some things you cannot do without people. I'm sat here, this would not have been possible without you guys believing in me and the vision. And MARYBEN, I want to now ask you, if we hear the verse that a prophet is without honor in his own hometown, how do you navigate when you found that initial vision for yourself and I'm sure you didn't have anyone to really support you. I'm sure now you have a team, you have your brother working with you. What can you say to that person who feels extremely lonely and they don't have no one who sees them the way they'd like?
Thank you for that question. And let me just add something to what she said. So number 3, fall in love with yourself. Literally. I always ask people, do you love yourself? And everyone says, yeah, I do. You know, that is always the response. But let me ask you, do you love yourself? When you look at that person in the mirror in the morning, do you say, I love the way I look, I love the way I smile, I love the way I walk? And when someone tells you you're too short, I'm the shortest in my family. So they always make fun of me. And I'm always like, God knows why I'm short. Because he knew if he had made me tall, the world would have come to a standstill.
Same.
But he said, let me make you brief. And I was like, thank you. So do you love yourself? That is one thing I want you to search today. Do you love yourself?
That's really good.
Do you? It's like the way she said, the way you encourage other people and you can't encourage yourself. We do that a lot. How many times have you failed and you said, I've learned one of the ways of not doing this. But rather you said, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have made this. I shouldn't have done that. How many times? We do it oftenly, right? And each and every time you're always told, and I've had those sermons. Someone tells you, no, you're full of pride when you're doing that. Nah, trust you me. Are you in love with yourself? For the Bible says, or rather Jesus even said, love your neighbor as you love what? Exactly. So if you can never tell your neighbor he's stupid, and you tell yourself, what does that mean? Do you know how many times people have told me you're fat? I tell them, I am thick and I love it this way.
Come on.
And I'm not going to reduce, you know. And there are those who said you're so full of pride, and I'm like, nah, I just know I'm God's product. Because there's a season I used to tell myself, you know that verse that says, is there anything good that can come out of Nazareth? I used to tell myself, there's nothing good that can come out of me. Nowadays, I learned to love myself. So love yourself. Now, back to the question. So let me tell you, fighting loneliness. You know, a prophet is not honored in their own home. Even Jesus was not honored in his own home. And this is what I learned. The reason as to why Jesus succeeded, in as much as he had his 12 disciples and he was moving from one town to the next, preaching the gospel, he was comfortable of himself. Even when the people were not around, he would still be comfortable in himself. Now, one of the things I had to fight, or rather one of the techniques I used to fight loneliness, was to be comfortable and believe in the vision. He spoke about the vision and I was so excited. Listen, how many of us here, they're employed or you run your own business? How many of us? We do, right? You know, you always have the vision and the mission, right? So the mission is what drives you to the vision. So that is what you're supposed to use in your life. You're supposed to have your vision, but you're supposed to also have a mission. How are you driving your life towards your vision? Now, when you fall in love with yourself, when you become comfortable in losing friends, when you become comfortable losing family members, when you trust God's purpose in your life, you will never seek to understand why are people hating me here. Because come on, who told you you were called for your home area? Who told you you were called for your community? Who told you you were called for Nairobi? Who told you you were called for those youths in Kisumu or in Eldoret or here? Who told you? When you understand you have your different vision and your mission and your purpose, you will know. And one of the things I normally tell people, and I also told him, when I kneel down, I don't tell God, give me Kenya. Nah, Kenya is too small for me. I kneel down and I tell God, in your word, you will say you'll give me the nations and the continent as my prize. I tell God, give me the continent. Even when Kenyans don't hear my voice, I don't care. Why? Because I'm going where? To the continent. I'm called for Ghana, I'm called for the US, I'm called for Nigeria, I'm called for other places. So once you understand what you're made of, allow me to say this, I don't drink Guinness, but Guinness, they always said it's made of, all of us you know, because it's an advertisement. Guinness is always said it's made of black. When you're looking at their billboard, it's always made of black. So each time I look at that billboard, I don't drink Guinness. So each and every time I look at it and I realize it's made of black, I ask myself, what am I made of? I'm made of God. If I'm made of God, God has never failed. Why am I going to be the first product that is going to fail? You guys use phones. You use Samsung, iPhone. Each and every time it has a defect, where do you take it back? Where do you take it? You take it back to the manufacturer. So each and every time I feel lonely, I tell God, you know what? There's a problem. Stir my faith. Let me understand. Or send a man or send a woman at this moment. God sent someone who can help me see, understand the vision, understand the moment, understand everything, and allow me to brag it because I'm so excited. When I asked God to send a man, he sent me a coach, Dr. Rowa. I don't call him Dr. Julian, call him Dr. Rowa. There are a lot of things I was going through, I kept on looking for validation from people. I didn't understand what I'm doing. I would stand and lack confidence and not believe in everything. And when I asked God, send someone, he sent two people. My mentor, who is called Eric, and Dr. Rowa. And I keep on telling God every single day. When she spoke about losing friends, I burned bridges. I don't want to lie. I burn bridges. And I'm always so excited. When I'm doing that, I am excited. I burn bridges. And always know no is an answer, silence is also an answer. So tell God, you know what, in this journey, send the right men, send the right women. Do you know why? We are spending all our days gathering people who are going to bury us, who will come for our funeral, our aim. They will come and give neno, as we call it, neno. Yes, they will come eat. And when they're coming back, if you're coming from the Nyanza region like me, when they reach Kikopey, they will alight, kula nyama choma, take a toast for your name, and move on. But when God sends the right people, you don't need more than 5. You only need 3 or 5 of them. Who will understand your vision? Who will help you succeed it, fulfill it? Who will fuel your purpose? And they will never be jealous of you. They will be clapping for you.
Wow.
Thank you.
That deserves a clap. Burn the bridges. No, I'm joking. I don't know if I want to burn bridges, but that's very insight. It's a very good insight. Dr. Julian, chat to me about relationships. You're 56. We live in a day and age where our generation cuts people off like they're so irrelevant. And there's some people that if you cut them off, you'll never find them in another person. There's some people who I do believe are truly invaluable. What is the role emotional intelligence plays in creating true lasting friendships? I think you have mentioned how there are not many people in your age group, your peers, who catch the same vision as you. So does that mean you're lonely, or do you have any friends? What are your relationships like?
Yeah, that's a very loaded question. I think in life, there's so many variables that we deal with, but you can classify them into 3, and I'd like you to write them down, if you will. The variables that you're dealing with are balls. These balls can be wooden. These balls can be rubber.
You say balls?
Yeah, balls, like a ball that you...
Oh, ball. Okay.
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah. So they could be wooden, they could be rubber, and they could be glass. In all the relationships that we have, we classify as any of those. So what I learned very quickly is that upon that classification, figure out which is the glass ball, which is so critical and phenomenal to you that if it dropped, it will break. And because it is so precious, you will not make that happen. So it's important to have that appreciation that those are the variables in everything that we do, including our work, our career. We can either classify them as glass, rubber, or wood. Now, having said that, relationships are really, really complex. My experience over time has taught me very valuable lessons. One which is real, true relationships have no expectations. Real, true relationships. There are no expectations. You get into a relationship for the purposes of giving. So it's like an empty box which you're filling into. And then it is your hope, not your expectation, Zee. It is your hope that the other party will do what? Will do likewise. So that comes from a place of sacrifice. And that is what for me defines relationships. Now when you look at many young people today, a lot of us are investing in the wrong things. Totally wrong things. There are those of us who think that wedding is marriage.
Say that again, please.
There are those of us who think that wedding is marriage. Wedding is not marriage. And marriage, which is a declaration of sorts, is not an end into itself. All these things require investment, day-to-day investment. And so earlier today when I was talking to Duane, I was telling you that you have to find a place of laughter with your friend, who may be your wife or your girlfriend. It becomes a critical component in building relationships.
Laughter.
Laughter. For me, the greatest is laughter. That your relationships can turn you into a little baby. Wrestle each other to the ground in laughter. Tickle each other like little kids at 56.
Guys, no, I saw his dynamic with his wife. He's speaking facts.
Yeah. So that's my perspective of relationship. It comes from a place of what? From a place of giving. It's not from a place of expecting. And when we start getting into relationships with the idea that we want to give, then we are succeeding. Now, ask my wife. I ask her a few times, at what stage do you know that I really love you? At what point do you know that I really love you? Muli, it's not at the time of convenience and comfort. No, it's not. It is not at the time of convenience and comfort. And I've told my wife, you will never know how much I love you.
Right.
Until something untoward happens and I'm supposed to be your nurse. And I'm supposed to turn you on your bed because you're unable to do it, you're invalidated. Because you've soiled the sheets and I will tirelessly pull them out and clean them and put them back for you. That is the point at which real love and real relationships manifest. And if you want to invest in relationships, ask yourself that question. Wow. At her lowest point, will you be there? Thank you.
Hey, that's a very, 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 very good insight. At her lowest point, would you be there? I don't know if I'm ready to answer that question yet. So, but Brian, I want to ask you, what's the role of community in purpose, and how important is that in what you do? Because you're big on community, but would you have truly found your purpose without community? Can you find your purpose without a community?
Okay, first of all, you will never give what you don't have. That is the baseline of everything. You will never give what you don't have. The reason I've created a community that we are able to work together is because I've gone ahead. I usually work with 3 people, and the 3 people are the person who is ahead of me, someone who is around me, and someone who is below me. Those are the first 3 people I work with. That if I get from up there, I pour to people below me. The people around me, they just remind me that, you're 22, so you can just be like a normal 22-year-old. But the whole thing of, or rather the purpose of our community is this. There's this quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. The things you know that I don't know. And the only way I'll get to learn that is by working with you. The things I've learned from Muli, the things he's learned from me. if we never met, we could never. Actually, like I knew Muli, and then I think after Muli, and then MARYBEN, and then Dr. Rowa. So the cycle goes just like that. So if you're willing to go first, go alone. But if you're willing to go further, go together. And that is something I've learned since when I was like a small kid. It's something that my mom taught me, that each one teach one, but always remember it starts from yourself. You can never give what you don't have. So pour into you. As Z said, that there are people who are there to just take and not give back. So pour into you first. And that is why on most of my videos on TikTok, I'll end up by saying, and I am so proud of you. There's someone who might, or rather there's someone who's had a rough day. They'll end up on TikTok, watch my video, and the thing I'll tell them is, I am so proud of you. There's someone who didn't tell them that. So the reason I'm pouring into them is because someone did the same thing to me. And that is why I tell people that if you're willing to grow together. Yeah. And that is why I believe in a community. We are all here. This is a whole community. And we believe in the same purpose. We're here because of Muli. Yeah. I believe if he had not gone further to do the research, to meet people, have conversations with them, and then come here, gather you together to give you this information, this value, I mean, where else would we go? So, yeah, majorly that.
Thank you for that. He has the quotes on quotes, man. Yo, MARYBEN, you talked about burning the bridges. I want to hear more a bit about that. So, when is it healthy to walk away from a relationship, and when is it worth fighting for?
When the conversations are getting a little bit, not even a little bit, when the conversations are getting disrespectful and you cannot tolerate them anymore, burn that bridge, cross and move. There are two kinds. Doctor has elaborated the kind of friendships you need and the relationships you need. Let me tell you something. Allow me just to share this. I had a meeting with Dr. and we were talking about something I was going through. For the month of February and March, I was in South Sudan working. And I kept on getting messages from some of my old-time friends. And each and every time I would get these messages, it would trigger me. And you know, being a mental health coach, you know how bad it gets. So it would trigger me over and over again. And I was there training people, but my mind was on the messages. Not one, not two, not three. So when we were moving from Juba to Nimule, I kept on thinking, why am I still holding on to these people? And you know why? It's been 8 years since I left. Egypt to Canaan. Allow me to use it like that. Since I left Egypt to Canaan, but one of the things that stood out was the reason as to why I was holding on to these people was the what if. What if I fail? What if I go back to where I used to be? What if I go back to poverty? What if I go back to my joblessness situation? What if I have to call them asking for money? What if? It was the negative what if. And the negative what if clouded my judgment, clouded everything about me. And you know, the only thing I was seeing was the what if. And you know, the human's mind does not comprehend negativity. For instance, if I tell you, don't think about an ice cream, there it is. You've thought about an ice cream, right? Exactly. Because that is what when I tell you not to do something, that is what you want to do. Because you want to experience why am I saying not to do it? So I kept on asking, what if? But it was never a positive what if. So I was getting a conversation. I was being told, MARYBEN, you look very sexy. You know, I've never had you. I'm thinking about that.
Jesus.
And you know, these were not conversations we were having. These are people we'd never crossed that line. But they feel because they were there, probably someone sent me 100 shillings, 500 shillings, then they have access to my body. And I kept on tolerating it. Either I'll send a smiley emoji or the wide eye emoji and keep quiet. But you know what I was doing? I was tolerating them. I was encouraging them. So along that way, it was a 4 hours drive. And you know, with the insecurity and everything, I kept on, the guys were saying, they told us we need to be alert because we might be attacked, there might be war and all that. But in that, my mind was on why? Why am I tolerating this? By the time I got to Nimule, the first thing that I did that very day was changing my mindset. Now, instead of the what if negatively, I said what if positively. What if I become the first female president in Kenya? What if I become the first billionaire in Kenya? What if I make it completely? Have I not made it? Yes. What if I move from Lavington to my own home in Kitusuru? What if the MARYBEN Foundation blossoms, becomes global more than where it is? What if? And you know what I did? I went back to those messages and I said, excuse me, I feel disrespected. I can't have this conversation. Why? I would ask the person, why are you so cheap? The person expected me to ask, how do you see me? How do you value me? I said, nah. Why are you so cheap? You want to give yourself to me freely. You don't have value. You don't have class.
Come on.
And this is what I normally tell ladies. You need to shift your mindset. Most of the time we ask, how cheap am I? How do you see me? It's time to change it. Just ask the man or the other woman. For the men, ask the woman, why are you so cheap? Why do you have to give yourself to me?
Hey.
You don't have value.
Come on.
I hold you highly, but this is how you can lower yourself. Oh, then I think I made a mistake. You're not the one who's killing yourself. You're killing the other person's ego. You're not lowering your standard. You're not lowering your standards. You're not lowering yourself to that level. And I had to. It's like it sparked something in me. And I just started responding to over 100 conversations I had muted, I had archived. And I was like, yo, I don't like this conversation. If you want to be friends with me, we have to be friends with respect and boundaries. And if you want to grow with me, we are going to grow in respect and in spirituality. But if you're going to bring this, no. And you know why? There's a time I used to be triggered a lot, and I stay with my kid, bro. So each and every time I would be triggered, he was the one who was getting the punches. So there's something he said that I don't think he remembers. He asked me, why do you treat me and the people around you as if we are the ones who hurt you? Your ex limited you. People devalued you, but why are you bleeding on us? It is not right. I don't know if he can remember, but it really broke me that time. It was almost 2 years ago. It broke me. And I sat down and I asked myself, why? And some of us are still doing that. And I said, nah, I have to take back my power. So every time someone brings something up, I'll just tell you, my dear, I'm not going to have this conversation. Even when it is business, I have lost a lot of million business here in Nairobi. I think I would have been a billionaire by now. With the governors, you go meet up with them and someone says something, I look at you and I'm like, no, sir. You should value yourself. If you want to do that kind of business with me, no. And someone tells you, uko na kiburi na una kakitu. I'm like, mradi nimesema hapana, niko na kakitu ya kusema hapana. That's it. So, value yourself.
Wow.
Burn those bridges.
That's powerful.
And when you're burning the bridges, do you know who you need to hold accountable for? Trust you me, hold God accountable. I normally tell him, you, my guy, I've burned this bridge. And being an entrepreneur, all of us can tell you, today you might be a billionaire. The next day, you're bankrupt, you're looking for fuel. I tell him, you know what? Ensure I don't need 2K urgently. And if I need it, send me to the right person.
Amen.
If I need that 2K, ensure Muli has that 2K. And ensure Muli will not judge me. And if I call Muli, he'll be like, alright, and he'll send it. Have those conversations with God. Trust me, they will save you a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Are you guys enjoying this conversation so far? Yeah? Yeah, give a round of applause for these guys. So Z, I'm curious though. You have talked a lot about trauma and your experiences, which are not easy to have gone through, but how did you heal? For those who have gone through something similar that are listening, we're dealing with men today that are predators, men that don't know that women are not just women, but they're sisters, they're daughters. So how do you now talk to whoever has been through that? How do they heal?
We're assuming I'm fully healed. Anyway, just like grief, I learned healing is also a journey. Because as a person, you're constantly changing. So the way it affected me yesterday, it's almost not the way it will affect me next week. So I'm constantly revisiting certain aspects of the same situation with just different mashishos, in a way. Number one, I like how you said it. I had to, because I kept wondering, why would they do that to me? As if I'm so special, but I am. By the time I was like, why would you do that to me? Am I that cheap? Am I that worthless? Am I that, all the negative stuff? We're trying to be positive people here. And I went down a rabbit hole of a lot of negativity, self-pity, attacking myself. And it took me back to... See, this is a safe space, guys. Okay. Nisikie kitu huko nje. Deny. I remember when I was young, there's a girl who was raped. I think I was, how old is I? Maybe 10. And I remember hearing my dad talk about it with my mom. I don't think he knew I was in the room. You know, the beauty of being small. You can just hide. And he was asking, kwani alikuwa anafanya nini huko? Hata yeye, what was she wearing? What did she think was going to happen? In my mind at the time, I was like, what are you asking that question? That's not the question we should be asking. But I was small and I was like, okay, maybe that's a question people ask. So I took time to wear oversized clothes, and I'd always be in baggy outfits, lest I tempt man, And my mom would give me talks every Sunday. Don't sit like this, don't do this, don't wear that, don't do that, lest a man sees you. Don't do this, don't do that, lest a man likes you. So I always grew up knowing the man is someone to be scared of. And then somewhere along the way, I started making friends with men. And I thought, wow, men are not that bad. And then someone took advantage of me. And now it took me back to that thing my dad said. And I was like, but I was decent. We were talking. I kept going back to finding and fishing for mistakes in things I did. And part of healing with my therapist needed to be accepting I'm not the one who did anything wrong. It's not that we stay as victims, but in that moment, I am the victim. Something wrong has been done to me. I have been offended. I have been aggrieved. I have been hurt. Right? Step one, it's like confessions. Acceptance. Number two became the grief itself. You don't realize sometimes when certain things happen to you, there's a loss of self. There's a part of you that goes away. And for me, it felt like my dignity was gone. Like my friend snatched it out of me. And I was angry. And then I started feeling like, but I'm not a dignified woman anymore. So I can just do whatever. See, dignity menda. I mean, what is? But then even having that moment of, my dignity really isn't gone. It's him whose dignity is gone. Why are you taking something that's not yours? It's not been freely given. It's not like I offered myself up, right? So I had to go on the journey of forgiving myself, but also grieving the fact that I felt this went, but it's not really gone, but it's okay. But I'm not ready to forgive, and it's okay. But I need to cry the tears I need to cry. So I went through that grief process, right? And then came number 3, the anger. Anger seems to be very prevalent in my life, guys, but I promise I'm managing it well. The anger became now, by the how dare you come to me. By the me. So it became another thing of anger. And then finally now, of course, God intervened because he was seeing this baby is going very badly. The 4th came to, what do we call it in mental health? I'm trying to remember. There's a word for it. Almost like, it's not really forgiveness, but you accept the person that they are and how they've shown themselves to you. So you've shown me this is the kind of man you are. Well and good. You will never see me again. You will never speak to me again. You will never have access to me again. And heaven forbid I see you talking to one of my friends. You will not see that girl again. right? So I had to also forgive, but like in a letting go kind of way. I'm letting go, I'm building a wall, you never see me again, I'm going to forgive you somehow with God's grace, and then releasing that burden. There's a way over time, it's like it lessens as you go. So I stopped hating myself, because I did hate myself for a while. I started hating men, now I don't hate men. And I at some point was angry with God, but I stopped hating God. Hey God, ameka pitia na mimi. And then eventually now it's of course you learn the lessons. Now I don't allow myself to be alone in certain spaces with certain people, because this was my friend. This was my friend. How dare you do that to me, right? So now I don't just recklessly assume and trust. Of course, I have to make sure someone knows. MARYBEN knows I'm meeting maybe Muli. If I'm meeting Muli, it has to be in a public place. Someone has to know where I am. Of course, unfortunately, I have to dress a certain way, right? Because I can't control the other person. I can control me. I can control what I'm doing around this person, because I don't know their inner thoughts. So the most I can control is here. But I did eventually let it go. I've not seen him in a while. I asked God to not let me see him, because until I'm ready to process it. Because I remember the way you were triggered. I remember being in Kigali one time, and I saw him. I was at a concert, and my mood shifted. Immediately, I stopped enjoying the concert, and my friends were like, "What's wrong with you? What's happening?" And I had not told them, because I felt shame. Sometimes that comes with it. And I sat there, and imagine I stopped enjoying the Kendrick concert. Imagine the audacity, the flight I paid, the hotel. Yani juu ya jamaa fulani, siku enjoy concert, right? And the worst thing is, right after that, I did end up in a situation where there's a gentleman who was trying to rob me. Imagine being in a foreign country, you're all alone, and someone is trying to drug you and rob you. And at the time, when you go to Kigali, you understand some nuances. The ladies who saved me were telling me that guy was going to drug you, rob you, and take advantage of you. And let me tell you, this is a day after seeing the guy. My God, nilikuwa kwa airport. Umeifika airport mapema? Nilikuwa nao tukifungua milango, because I was like, I need to get out. But then I came back and I had to accept I had not reached the last stage. I had not forgiven and let go. So now, well, thank God I've not seen him again. But I have let go, I have forgiven. I wish him a bit of well, not too much. But I do acknowledge that I am okay. My dignity is still with me. I am still whole. I am still good enough. I am still worthy of love. I'm still worthy of protection from both genders. I'm enough.
Amen.
Okay?
Clap for that one. Yes. So I want to now open it up to you guys. If anyone has a question, I've seen fingers going crazy. So if someone has said something on the panel today that has sparked your curiosity, now is the moment to ask any of us a question. And one of our protocols will help you. But I'll give you guys time to think. But if there's anyone that's ready, let them know. But I want to ask you a question, Dr. Julian. With my family is here, then they're always dressed up beautifully, shout out to you guys. But how did you deal with finding this is now an open-ended question. I think I might be asking something that they might be asking. When it comes to navigating relationships, you're very intellectual, right? And I've seen that. I think I told him that it felt like I was sitting next to myself in the next 30 years. And because something about intellectuals is we think a lot and way too much sometimes. So when someone may ask stupid questions, you may get some sort of frustration. But how everyone here has sort of talked about their story, and the common theme is you attract what you are. How did you navigate finding your beautiful wife in your growing up, especially in the times you were living in? What was that like?
Okay, thank you. Just to correct the impression that being an intellectual is any big thing, I think I told you the other day that it has nothing to do with being smart. It has just got everything to do with endurance to know. Endurance to know. That's where intellectualism comes from.
Endurance to know.
Endurance to know. That's what it has nothing to do with sharpness. But your question, if I get it right, is how did I go about
securing her?
Securing this young lady over here. Yeah, I teased somebody that she's my first daughter, and they believed.
Who was that? Was that?
And so I was very offended because that clearly meant I'm very old. But yes, my wife is here. If you could just wave so they can just see.
You can stand up for people in the back who can't see you.
Yeah.
Yes. Clap for her.
Mrs. Draw. Yeah, and my daughter is here, Akwe. Also,
might as well stand
very
up.
beautiful girl.
My family stand up.
Stand up. Yeah. And my son Nigel is also here. Really, you should hear his voice. Oh, this changes something fundamental about me. You realize it's changing something about you. Upon application, you internalize it. You internalize it so that it becomes the new you. And Kurt Lewin, a very good management guru, has spoken about how you can unfreeze, change, and then refreeze. And that is what learning, real learning happens. Upon reflection, application, and internalization. Now, if you do that effectively, one of the three things will happen. One of these three things will happen. One, you will stop something about you. You will stop doing something.
Wow.
Two, you will probably continue doing something because that learning has validated you. And then three, you will change something. To the questioner, that is when learning happens. When something about you changes, when something about you is affirmed through a process of reflection, application, and internalization. I hope I've answered your question. If you are ever going to use that phrase anywhere, just quote me. Thank you very much.
That is a beautiful answer.
Thank you very much.
I have learned quite a bit from him. I want to read you guys a quote that I was reading. I've just finished reading a book. If you know me, I'm a I'm a student of life, so I'm always reading. And there's this guy who actually, he inspired me to write my book. I was listening to one of his podcasts. He's called Danko, and he talks in his book, Purpose and Profit, a quote that I want everyone to just hear because it's really good, and I can't say it the way he said it. He says, most people's lives are determined by how they choose to cure their boredom. When you decide to step into the unknown, you are effectively reinventing yourself. You are reborn, and when you're reborn, you're vulnerable. There's little order and a whole lot of chaos. So stay mindful of this. The first leap into a new way of life will have a buffer period of high anxiety. This is nature's way of testing how serious you are about seeing what you're capable of. Without problems, there is no creativity. Without creativity, there is no life. A life without problems is a life without purpose. And he goes on to say, you have no reason to step into the unknown, discover ideas, create knowledge, deposit it as a contribution, and live fully. Problems like ideas are infinite. There will never be a time when we rid our lives of problems. There will only be a time with better problems to solve. There is no final destination. And he closes and says, if there's any point in your life where you're not wrestling with a meaningful problem, this includes mindfulness, meditation, and other forms of spirituality that make it seem as if you aren't solving the problem of an entropic mind. It is safe to say that you are not in the process of producing value or creating the potential to contribute to something greater than yourself. You lose purpose. In summary, I know I said a lot, this whole conversation we've had today with the different perspectives that everyone here has offered, I will listen to this over and over and over again because I love this conversation genuinely, is purpose has to be bigger than you. And you have to find ways to serve a vision that can also help the other people that are in your community and in society today. As MARYBEN put it, she's not for Kenya. And I believe I'm not for Kenya. In fact, Kenyans, I love Kenyans. But the thing about us, when it comes to being entrepreneurs, we don't live in a consumer society. We're always struggling with, hey, bargaining, this price of this specific thing is too much. But when you switch your location, and that's something whoever is listening to us might take into their own perspective. Maybe it's just your location and your environment that if you change, you might re-evolve into someone that will shock yourself and everyone connected to you. So I wanted to leave that wisdom of nugget with you guys. Are there any other questions? And also, there's food at the back. So if you're hungry right now and you can't say like, when is this guys gonna end? We're ending shortly. But if your stomach is not agreeing, please go get something. I think there's samosas, hot dogs, juice. So help yourself kindly. You will not be embarrassed. But yes, I see another question. Kindly introduce yourself, say your name and then your question. And keep it concise. Kindly. Thank you.
I don't think you guys will manage to guess it,
hi
but
everyone.
it's okay.
Hi. So my name is Joy Muntet, and I'm glad to be here today. And I really enjoyed the conversations that you guys had, the vulnerability that you guys portrayed. I think it was beautiful, and I got to really connect with the two of you ladies. I think it was very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So my question is, what really motivates you guys to show up every single day, despite you guys are really doing well in life, despite what Zee you said. We follow you and we see what you're doing, and trust you me, you're doing amazing. You're just maybe not where you want to be, but trust you me, we look up to you. So what motivates you to show up every day and do all the things that you wrote down? And of course there are times that you get like burnouts and things like that. So how do you go past that burnout? And my second question will be, now this is not related to what you guys have been talking about, but it's something that I remember I had a conversation with someone whom I got to interact from another country, Egypt to be precise. So they gave me another perspective of the male and female kind of gender differences. So he was saying that, for example, for them, in their culture, it's up to them to always protect women, to always look out for them. But when they're in the workspace, for example, I'm an engineer in the making. So he was giving me an example of, if we are to go out in the field, he wouldn't want me to go up the pole, not because I don't have the expertise, but because in his mind is like, what if she falls? She's under my care. So how does he go about helping me advance in my career, while at the same time being conscious of who he is as a traditionalist? Yeah, thank you.
So wait. First question was?
First question
how do you deal with burnout, right?
Yeah, and what keeps you motivated? Yeah.
Keeps you motivated. Who is that targeted to? Anyone?
Anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zee, you can go ahead. Or MARYBEN.
There's one thing I got to learn the other day. I'm a football fanatic because of a couple of people. That is Cristiano, Lewis Hamilton, Vanessa Williams, and there's one guy, I've forgotten his name. So the reason as to why I love them, it's because they don't seek motivation. They become the motivation. So one of the things I learned was that the reason as to why we keep on slacking behind, it's because we're looking for motivation. If you're looking for motivation, it means you don't want to become. If you want to become, you don't seek motivation, but you become the motivation itself. Meaning, the only thing you're supposed to look for is consistency and discipline. You don't need motivation. I don't need to motivate you to become the greatest person. Why? It's your dream, it's your vision. So if you understand your dream, you understand your vision, you have your purpose, and you you craft out your mission. The only thing you need is discipline and consistency. Trust you me, don't look for motivation. Because the people you're looking motivation for, trust you me here, just to be honest, or rather to speak for myself, there are days I'm a 4 a.m. person, and there are days I'll be 5 a.m. And the most days I'm an 11 a.m. person. Trust you me. Most days I'm an 11 a.m. person, whereby I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to be lazy. And when I become lazy, I'm doing it graciously and intentionally.
You're comforting some people right now.
Yes, very. I wake up and the first thing I'll ask, if Chris has not gone to work, I'll be like, Chris, have you made breakfast? He will even come and call me from the room to come and take breakfast. And he will actually just have to plead with me, please come and drink tea. The first time he goes, come back. I've told you, come and drink tea. He goes and comes back. But being a man, the third day will come, nimekwambia kuja kunywe chai, kama utaki wacha. And that is the time I'll get up and come and drink tea. But there are days I will not wait for that. I will wake up in the morning and grind 2 consecutive weeks or a whole month grinding. Why? Because I understand I don't need someone else to motivate me. But the reason as to why I follow guys like Cristiano, Lewis, is because these are people who are coming from a point of lack, from a point of unknown, from a point whereby the whole society didn't even think about them. Nobody even knew these guys were going to make it. But they had something in them. There was a seed that told them you're going to be great. And they just had to tap into that greatness. And every day, every single time, they keep up with the motivation. Cristiano doesn't drink. He doesn't have tattoo. He doesn't drink soft drinks. He only does water. And that tells you it calls for serious consistency and discipline, not motivation. Today you will tell yourself, I don't want to take soda, but trust me, after 1 week, you need the sugar. It calls for discipline. And also, just to also answer that question she asked, because now it's on the feminine, I can answer it, and then she adds, allow me to be very honest and vulnerable. The other day I sat down and I was looking at my age, and then I was looking at myself where I am right now as MARYBEN. I don't know about all of you, and I know Mom can also help me on this. I looked at the woman I am right now, the things that I know, how I am growing, and even I'm glad we have our 2 seniors, where I'm going. And I looked at that young girl. I'm actually turning 34. This is the first time I've said it out loud. I looked at me and everything, and I was like, oh shit. Allow me to use that word. I was like, oh shit. Where I am, yeah, I desire to be a baby girl. Trust you me, I desired to be a baby girl. She mentioned it. I desired to be a baby girl because you know everything. You want to figure out everything. You want to sort out everything. Before you know it, you're living it in your masculine era, whereby you got everything figured out. The kind of conversations you're sitting down and people are talking. You're sitting down with a guy or with your colleague who is a male colleague, and they're talking and you're wondering, what are you even telling me? Why? Because already you've picked up the masculinity unknowingly. And then I asked myself the other day, MARYBEN, will you get married? Because right now it means I'm auditing everyone and everything they're saying. I'm like, nah. And I've been in the masculine environment and career. Pest control, it's purely masculine. And every time I show up, they expect to see a guy. Until now, I had to introduce Chris. Every time I show up for those tenders, they're all men. The rest of the ladies are probably coming for site visit, and they're like, where's the director of Greensill? I'm like, I'm here. And they're like, you? But unknowingly, I became that until right now, to be very honest, without lying, I desired to be a baby girl. And I wanted just to be a baby girl. So when you get male colleagues who want to treat you like female, they're not downplaying you. They respect that. They're literally traditional men. Trust you me, grab it with all hands. Trust you me, do it. I know she goes to work, and when she comes back home, she becomes a baby girl. Because it's a gem, to be very honest. I'm in the women empowerment sector. I normally tell women, trust you me, don't desire to be that woman who cannot rely on the men. And if we go back to the biblical aspect, the men are our Lord. And that is one part most of the time we are never taught in the Bible. We are never taught even in churches. Our men are our lords. When you look at Sarah, she used to call Abraham, yes, my Lord. But right now, what do we say? Unaongelesha nani? Unajua mimi ni nani? You know.
Are you helping some people?
You know. We were taught they're our lords. That is number one. Number two, they were called to be the head. They are the head. And then us, we are the neck. Meaning, I tell women, by the way, and I told you guys the other day, when we say we are all created in the image and likeness of God, no, women, we were never created in the image and likeness of God. Men were. That's why men have the anger of God, the jealousy of God. They can be quick to temper judgment, but we normally tell God, temper your judgment with mercy, and that is men. And then us as the women, we were created out of the ribs of men. And that's why you see, even in the Bible, all the men, they go out to seek God. They go to pray. But what does God do to women? God comes where a woman is. God comes to have a conversation with you. And that's why we women, we will cry and God hear our prayers. But God expects men to reason with them. Men go, you go reason with God. You guys go talk. Me, I'll come there and cry and cry and cry. And they're like, baby girl, I got you. You know. So I normally tell women, no matter which environment you are, your line of career, your line of profession, if you get the real traditional men who don't downplay you, take it wholeheartedly, because they still walk in that line of Christ. I normally tell women again, if you're here and you want to grow and say, we're going to do 50-50, trust you me, if you're going to do this 50-50, you're staying with your roommate. For the men, let them play their part. It's never 50-50. That is roomy. And that's why you will see we women will say, if I'm doing 50-50, then you should help me with the baby, you should help me with the cleaning, you should help me with this. But a man who understands himself, he will do it wholeheartedly. He will take care of the bills and still be there with you. He'll tell you, Mama, sleep, I'm cooking today. And he will not strain. Because
Dr.
he
Julian, is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Are you cooking?
What's your question, Molly?
Are you the one cooking?
I'm not a good cook, but yeah.
I believe he helps. He assists. You know. So if you get someone who wants to do it, please do it wholeheartedly, because in the African, right now as Africans, we are trying to adopt into the Western culture, which at times it doesn't suit with all of us. To be very honest, it doesn't suit with all of us. And when we women keep on climbing that ladder and taking up all the responsibilities, trust you me, before you know it, you become masculine. There's something I was finding it hard the other day, was to put on very nice dress, very nice makeup, full makeup. I do my hair full and all that. I used to feel like I would look like a flower girl. So I was complaining to one of my friends, and she was like, nah, you're just being too masculine. I tried giving lame excuses, but I sat down, nilijita kamkutano. Kanjambia, MARYBEN, you know it is very true. You're being masculine. What is the problem with you dressing like this, looking like this? And the first time I had to do a dress, nice makeup and everything, I felt like a queen. In as much as I felt like a flower girl, but I felt like a queen. And I said, you know what, I want to do this more. But I can only do it if I do what? I shed off the masculine characters and start living in the feminine. So it's time to do that. Thank you.
Wow. That is a thorough answer. And even as the gents here sitting today, if women can wear something and they also feel feminine, you know, even us sometimes pull up with your family and wear a suit, just sit down, dinner, you're not wearing sweatpants, you're wearing a suit, serve me and give me my food. But anyway, are there any other questions? We can take one more question.
Can I add on to something she said?
Okay, yes. Go ahead.
I'll try and keep it brief. So number one, even when you're passionate about something, is it me? The interference? Even when you're passionate about something, burnout unfortunately comes because you're working at it. You're putting in the work, you're putting in the hours. Your brain and body can only take so much. So you need to learn to incorporate rest. It's something I'm learning to do right now. When my body's like, listen, by the way, I just sleep. I manage my calendar, I manage my time. And like Sundays, most of my friends know, do not look for me. Sunday is my day with God, and it's my day to rest. Unless it's very important, I'm not leaving the house because I have to force time to rest. So burnout, unfortunately, does come, but you have to start managing it very early. Put in time to rest, put in time to do hobbies. So your brain has something else to do that's not work-related. Number two, about the gentleman. One thing I had to learn unfortunately, is even, and I don't know if it will contradict yours or add yours, I don't know. Even people, both genders, sometimes we think we're trying to do the best thing for you, but we're actually acting on our own fears and projections. So there's one way that there is protection. Yeah, there's one that there's protection, and then there's another, which is, he asked, what if she falls? It's him wondering about his reputation, not necessarily worrying about you.
So kind of questions you ask yourself, the quality, determine the quality of answers you give yourself. So I think for me, those are the two things here.
That's really good. I want to read something again real quick. Boredom. I think boredom, it has two spectrums, right? This book says boredom leads to self-centeredness. Your mind starts thinking of something better and often more pleasurable that it could be doing with its time. So he's talking about the psychic entropy, the mind that is constantly falling into chaos, or boredom and anxiety. So both boredom and anxiety stem from a mismatch of your skill level and the challenge of a situation. So if your skill is too high and the challenge is too low, you get bored. So if your skill is too low and the challenge is too high, you get anxious. So anxiety leads to self-consciousness. So your mind starts thinking of how it's not good enough, and in both scenarios, one thought leads to another until you find yourself drowning. So what I want to say is confidence is definitely birthed from within. And as he said, there's such a big investment young people are missing out on, which is constantly building your internal value. And I think women are born with innate value, true. But men, we have to grind. If you as a man think your looks will bring you into rooms, I mean, you only go so far. But men go far because of what's in their mind. And I think when you start learning the things as the art of learning and applying those principles, you get to a point where, like for me personally, why I told you I'm always learning, so that's why I'm quoting things, because there's never a time I am not allowing myself to expose myself to different perspectives that I don't know about, because ignorance is not bliss in this spectrum of purpose. So I hope you can, whoever is listening, when you start building your internal value, confidence just starts radiating through you. And it starts, that aura that everyone talks about, it starts to become very clear. And you start attracting the right type of people as well. So for me, when I'm just recently, people always stop me and ask me for money. And I'm like, it's a good thing. Because now I can tell my aura is of wealth. Even though I'm not necessarily where I want to be financially, but if just this week 3 people have stopped me asking me for money in Sarit, and I'm walking, I'm doing errands, I'm like, hey, it's good to have that internal value, because I may not be where I want to be right now, but in the next few years, I'm not necessarily like Z, who does 1, 5, 10 years. I struggle. That's why I have a team who helps me with my goals. But the vision aspect of who I am, I see things, and that's why Sight and Spirit is a reality, is to help people see beyond their limits. Because you realize majority of your problems are self-inflicted. The rest, of course, some things you can't control. But that's where you have to take your pain and channel it and use it to ways that can serve you and help better humanity, because she said purpose is found through using your pain to serve others, and that's really good. Like, if you really, really catch what some of these guys have said today, I don't think you'll leave here the same. And so for me, I have my community, and we talk about we talk about things from a perspective of course the Bible and everything, but I always ask myself this question: if today was my last day on earth, would I be happy that I lived? So ask yourself that question, because you don't know when you're gonna go, and that's a reality we're all gonna face. The Bible says it's better to be in the house of mourning than to be in the house of pleasure. In the house of mourning, there's the reality of what life really is. We're all mortal beings. So I think confidence and everything we've talked about here today, if you've learned how to learn, you'll take everything that everyone here has said today very, very, very practically. So I don't know if you guys have any closing remarks or any things you'd want to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Muli.
Okay, wait. Okay. MARYBEN has I don't know if you...
Thank you. They've answered confidence in the most upgraded way. Now let me tell you how you get your confidence in the most simplest way. Have you ever seen a toddler or a baby trying to walk, right? The first time they take the first step, right? They fall. They take the second step, they fall. They take the third step, they fall. They take the fourth step, they take 1, 2, 3, fall, right? But each and every time they do that, we normally clap for them. Now, that is how you develop your confidence. Confidence is not something that you were born with and you need it instantly and you want to have it instantly when you're developing your purpose. Confidence is that taking that baby step. Today, walking at that door, looking at everyone. By the time you get to this point, you feel shy, it's fine. You go back again, you take the next step, you get to this pillar, you feel shy, it's fine. By the time you reach at the end, you come back, you will realize you will walk gradually without caring what people say, how they feel, how they look at you. Whether you're smart or not, you will walk. That is how you build your confidence. Most time we wait to have it probably when you're a millionaire or when you're working or when you're putting on a Zara or when you're doing this or that. No. It's learning to walk like a toddler. That is how you build your confidence.
Man, that's really good.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes, Dr. Julian.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Muli, first for having me here.
Thank you for being here.
I realize I'm the only gray-haired guy around. So for me, that's a big privilege, and thank you. If you'll allow me just a minute to share some resources. Would you like me to share some resources?
Get your notes out.
Yeah, very quickly. I'll just take a minute. First and foremost, I was with a friend 2 days ago. She's called Stella Mwiga, a good friend of mine, and I told her I'm coming for this function. And I asked her, what message would you like me to pass? And I talked about faith, passion, and relationships and the intersection. And I asked, what would I tell the young people? And she said, talk to them about self-awareness and how self-awareness touches the all facets of our lives. And there's a good resource that Muli has put together. That's a very good resource, Muli, you've put together. And I've had a read at it. I'm a scholar of serious repute.
Come on.
If I tell you that a book is good, take it from me. And this is serious stuff. So that's one resource I'd like you to look at. Last week, my wife and
what's the resource? Sorry?
Thank you.
What was the resource?
The resource is the book.
Oh, if you didn't hear what he said, did you get that on camera?
Yeah.
This is going on my LinkedIn.
Yeah, the resource is the book. So seriously, take a copy of that book.
Thank you, sir.
This last week we had the luck of through Netflix watching some 3 interesting movies, and I would like to draw your attention to those movies as young people. One of it is called The List. The List, Netflix, The List.
The list, like L-E...
L-I-S-T.
Oh, the list, okay.
L-I-S-T.
All right.
So you're agreeing with me? You've watched it, yeah? Yeah, and just follow the character Alex.
Okay.
Character Alex.
He's putting you on, guys.
Yeah. The other resource I'd like you to take a look at is another Netflix movie called Forge. F-O-R-G. And in Forge, please check out Joshua and check out Isaiah. All right? The last movie I'd like you to also watch, and do that this week. Do that this week. Muli knows how to find me just to confirm that you guys have watched these movies, is The Unsung Hero. Have you watched Unsung Hero? Yeah, go watch it here. In Unsung Hero, focus on Rebecca and focus on the mother, Helen. Please do. I strongly recommend. In finalizing, the books that I would like you to go and buy over and above Muli's. 1, The Dynamics of Goal Setting. Go and read the book, The Dynamics of Goal Setting. The Dynamics of Goal Setting by Dennis Wheatley. I recommend the red one. There's a red and there's a blue one. I recommend the red one. 2, Muli didn't think very highly of this book, but I insist. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
That's a good one.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Please read that book. That's by Steve Covey. And then finally, to assist you with what I call self-leadership, read Becoming a Leader. Becoming a Leader by Dr. Miles Monroe. And
Amazing.
with those few words, I drop the mic. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for being here. As MARYBEN says, that you guys are privileged to have us. So But yes, I now want to transition to. I have some gifts for my guests. So where are those gifts, guys? Pull them out kindly. But how is everyone feeling so far? I hope the MC has made you guys warm up to each other. There's a lot of brilliant people in this room that I'm seeing that if you guys know how to network, you guys can really create some amazing things. I'm seeing Sean at the back, Tupac, my brothers, kindly stand up. These guys are doing amazing things and network with them, please, kindly. Oh, they're eating, gosh, sorry. Munch in peace. Who can I see I can see Derek Ogechi, kindly stand up. He's playing for the Thunder. So kindly support him and his craft. You can always go and watch his games. I can see who else? My family is here in the front row. Good to see you guys. My mom, my sister, my dad. Glenn, my co-host, kindly stand up as well, guys. Please, I beg for people to find you. You see, I've been doing TikTok with my mom, and a lot of you guys have had questions for her. She's there, so you can go and ask her some questions about whatever you want to ask her. She's open. But yes, we're not in a rush. We will have 1 more hour to eat, talk. Please eat. There's a lot of samosas I myself need to eat. So, but yes, that should be it. Can I get the gifts as well? So, photographers, let's get this happening. Okay, I don't know who's. Okay, their names are here. Yes, kindly. Where's Darcy? Is Darcy in the building? Carol, where's Darcy? Darcy. This is her. She's gone. Oh gosh, find her please, because these are her gifts. But Dr. Julian, here you go. Brian, no, don't worry. We're going to do their photos. Z, this is you, and MARYBEN, this is you. So yes, this is my gesture of appreciation. Guys, we can stand up and take a photo as well. These are all keynote speakers. So these guys have honored me on favor with man. So, but if you were to book them, those rate cards are not cheap. So we're dealing with people who are highly blessings to our generation. So let's pull out your gifts. I want you guys to show them what you guys got, so that they can see. Let's see. Yeah, pull them out. Let's see how your gifts look, because I'm also curious. Yes, it is. Yeah. There you go. Show them how it looks. Yes. This is done by Darcy. No, don't shake me. It's her. I want her to come. I'm not talented like her. Yes, but we can take a photo, because she's when she comes, of course, we'll take photos. But yes, let's get closer so that the camera. Where's the camera? Here. Okay. Let us count down kindly. Okay, clap for us. Thanks. There you go. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys for being here. Please, big ups to yourself as well. Kindly clap for yourselves. No. That's how you honor yourself, guys. Hey. Yeah. Thank you. I'd say everyone who has come here, we're all searching for the same thing. As Brian says, meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Trust me, we have something on our sides, which is youth. Let's leverage our youth and create some meaningful things. The world needs you. Imagine if one person can gather thousands. This guy's gathered 2,000 people in the stadium. And he's here. He's around your same age. What about you? Not to belittle you, but to encourage you to understand that I want to start seeing everyone here doing amazing things, pushing their limits. My cousins, these guys, I'm telling them, you guys should start your own TikTok. They're twins. They have so much amazing things. First of all, they spend most of their time watching series. So if you guys would go on TikTok or whatever and start saying, hey, this is what I watched from this, and start rating movies, who knows? You might, guys, I don't know, you guys can become moderators for big films when they come out. That's just an idea. But anyway, so everyone here would like to, if you guys would like to talk to us, we'll be at that room. The books are there. They're going for 1,000 shillings, as Dr. Julian said very kindly. And he says He's a serial, what is the word? Serial, a scholar? Okay, a scholar of international repute, and he rated my book. So if you've not bought my book, I don't know what you're doing. But yes, that's it for now. Thank you guys for coming. The saxophonist can get to what he does best. And please, I saw some videos of me doing push-ups. Guys, what's going on? Who is you're doing me dirty, I beg. But yes, thank you guys for coming.
Yes, people, I just wanted to officially extend an invite to anyone who wants to be a part of my communities. I have 2 communities, Sight and Spirit, where I have a community of, it's a smaller community. We pay 1K a month, and all we do is talk deeply about value. On the other side, I have another community of almost 200 people where we talk about everything to do with God, and it's called Enlightened by Yah. If you want to buy my books, DM me, but there's ways you can get a book from me physically, which costs 1,500, only 1,500, and it's a lot of value. And if you want to know, I'm also doing a podcast, and it's coming out very soon. It's called Sight and Spirit. Subscribe to the channel; it will be amazing. It's with my co-host Glenn Mwangi, and I'm excited. And I also have my personal page. And if you want to find me, you know where to find me _MuliJR. And yes, thank you.